Very interesting shayla in last week's Sedra. Al pi hagoyro yecholek ords that the chugas are stroke, the shvatim, the subdividing are stroke. Each shevet was a goyro, but it wasn't a Parshas to goyro. Like we mentioned more about the Bash goes into details. Elazar Kohen had the word the tumim. And Al Pi HaGoyro was it spoke out. It spoke out when each one picked out. They picked their copy. They picked their ballot. So it also Abaska read out what chelik they get and who also to what shevet and to who will be their shochan as well. There was someone who had given Shalach Matos. Menashe gave a prime Shalach Matos, Matos Levyonim al Purim. At that moment, when he gave the Matos Levyonim, the recipient, the Makabel was Ephraim, he was a year as a Norman, and he needed the Matos Levyonim. After he gave him Matzon Yodim, he found out, Ephraim discovered that he had bought a ticket in the lottery and he won several $1 million lottery ticket. So Shaila was, if Menashe, that when he gave the Matzon Yodim to Ephraim, so was he Yoitze Matzon Yodim, because he already had won the lottery ticket before he gave him. He didn't have the idea. He didn't know. Ephraim didn't know yet that he had won the lottery ticket. So when he received from Nashe, he thought he was in the status of a Norman. So the shayla was whether he has to give Matos Levyonim again or not. So they told him that Allah is at that moment, whatever his situation, it seemed to him that he at that moment he was in a status of an Ani of Norman, even though he had won and his assets were way above what qualifies for an Ani, but being that at that moment he didn't know when he took it, so he was ready to. What who gave him was Yoitze Matzon Levyonim. Just like somebody who is traveling abroad and doesn't have with him his assets, and he's in a situation where he needs help. So he has the deal of an Anoni, a Norman, so he can take Zakir without any shadows whatsoever. We mentioned on Shabbos, we mentioned the Kanois of Pinchas. At Pinchas, several nisim took place. One of the nisim was that Zimri didn't call out when Pinchas was about to exact Kanois on Zimri. So Zimri didn't call out for help from. So all of those in that sheva would have come running and would have prevented Pinchas from assassinating Zimri. He didn't call out for help. One of these took place. So the shayla is, but afterwards, once they saw that the head of their shevet, what happened to him, why the antagonism didn't arouse them to come after Pinchas and kill him. The Tzarek HaKohen says a very, very novel pshat in the Gemara in Brachas. The Gemara in Brachas says like this here: Tani Ois Hayoim Solko L'Shem Pesach. When Gamliel was deposed as the Rosh Yeshiva, as the Nazi, and the Moshe ben Azariah took over, Ois Hayoim, they took away the Shemra Pesach, the watchman. That's the first chapter of Gemara Brachas. Watchman that he was used to be machris, kol shein teche kebarei al yikonis. Whoever is not in his innermost, is not as like he appears on his outside, inside is not result like his outside. So al yikonis, he's lacking complete sincerity. He shouldn't come into the Medrash. So the more continued that he added so many Savsolim, he had many more Talmidim came in to the Medrash. So they asked the Kasha, the watchman would stand outside and be machris. How can a watchman determine what's in someone's heart to know if he's a tzarek kavar, if he's sincere or not? In the Navi in Shmuel, you know, when the Baruch sent Shmuel Navi to bring a melech dog from the sons of Yishai, so Shmuel Navi was so great that he couldn't know who was the one of Yishai's sons should be a melech. And here a particular watchman can stand by the door and I can listen. He can decide who's a Shemra, who's a tzarek kavar or not. So Tzara Kohen said like this. He says there was no real watchman. It was just the cruise itself. When anyone heard Rabbi Gamliel announce, "Kol shein teche kebarei," whoever is not really sincere, he felt so self-conscious about his insincerity, he couldn't bring himself to come into the Medrash. That was the Shemra Pesach. The cruise itself was the Shemra Pesach. So in other words, if there's a certain characteristic that's embedded in a person, others are affected and influenced by it. The Shevet Shimon, when they saw the sincerity, they saw Pinchas, how he meant with such a menace, that influenced them so that they couldn't bring themselves to do anything to Pinchas. That's the pshat. He entered in B'soicham in their hearts themselves. They became they tshuva, they repented. They weren't the same anymore.